right. What about the Suns? Obviously Christian Petracca, but also Jamarra.
So, but yes, and well, Christian Petracca is huge, of course. Jamarra is a little bit of the unknown as to if they get that deal done, you know, what he will be able to offer them in 2026 and beyond. So we wait to see what position he's in as a person first, then a player secondary. But overall, I've loved what Gold Coast have done in this period. They see themselves, Jared, as you mentioned, in right in that window of potentially winning a grand final. So all of a sudden you get Petracca in and you add him next to Rowell, Anderson, Miller, Humphries if they keep him, which they should. All of a sudden they've got this five thick-set, powerful mids that will have a huge say on the competition and will nearly be unstoppable through.
You talking the new Fab Five?
Well, they're Fab Five for sure because of what they do. And I know we've had a couple along the way since the Brisbane Lion boys back in the day. So overall, and then obviously they've made the deals that they've had to do with Flanders going out of it, and they've got two youngsters in Zeke Ewland and Dylan Patterson, who they need to accumulate the points for, Ralphie, and they've got the points to do that now as well. So they get potentially a player that will help them go to the promised land in the midfield, as well as two youngsters for their future and who will expect to play early. The competition for spots in this side is huge. Damien Hardwick, massive tick on what you've done so far.
What about Jamarra? Do you think that Jamarra's distraction cost the Dogs a finals berth this year?
No, because the club handled it extremely well throughout the entire year.
But it didn't help, did it?
No.
It didn't help. And I'm surprised...
From a talent point of view, of course, because his 2024 year was quite impressive in terms of what he was able to do. So yes, when you say from a pure talent point of view, but I think the club handled it extremely well. And they moved past Jamarra as quick as they possibly could.
And they got Jordan Croft coming through. And
well,
we know
that's it. They were able to uncover Sam Darcy this year, which I think was a bit of a surprise to everyone how well he went and the rapid rise. So the future's bright.
Yeah, they talk about an elite Indigenous welfare manager in Jared Harbrow. They might as well hire another one because it's going to be a full-time job with Jamarra. I think this is tip of the iceberg stuff in that we know 20% of the issues, 80% of those issues below the surface have been so complicated, but also just, you talk man hours, you know, from a media perspective, from a CEO perspective, from the two footy bosses they have there. It took up so much time. Now, if Jamarra toes the party line, it's so worth it. There is a significant chance that they will be regretting it halfway through the year. But all of us would love to see Jamarra play great football.
And I think underline that, but it sounds like the footy department is sold on it, but there's still a few things that have to be ticked off.
Recruited Jason Ackermanis, and that everyone was talking about the manpower. For 2 years, there was zero manpower. One person had to look after it.
Can I ask you, though, is there a club in the league that needs him less than the Gold Coast?
Yeah, well, that confuses me a little bit, I've got to say, as well. Because they've got the young
play him on the wing, or they've got so many tools that one of the best young guns in the land is not getting a game.
So their view is you can play on a wing that is better below his knees than maybe a Jed Walter type,
but you're not paying big dollars for a wingman.
No, well, they're not paying big dollars.
And if he plays really well and he'll play as a centre-half forward, there is a chance that they might lose Jed Walter, who is uncontracted next year. So there's a lot of risk around it, but we all know the upside. And Ben King, who says he wants to stay, but he's going to get some very big offers, and it'll be so interesting to see if he signs a deal across the summer. That would be another huge fillip for Gold Coast.
And just before we finish on the Suns, you've put a piece up this afternoon online, Ralphie, about the sell from Dimma Hardwick to Christian Petracca.
That's right. So he went to Adelaide, he was a bit impressed, and then he went to Gold Coast, and Dimma whispered those sweet nothings. And he's a very persuasive man, Dimma. So yes, he said, we want you to be our strike weapon, playing midfield and forward. It was also a lot about leadership. I think Christian felt undervalued. He didn't feel like he checked out, but he felt like everyone accused him of that. And so I think what Dimma was able to pitch to him is look at the disparate characters I brought together at Richmond. Trent Cotchin, Jack Riewoldt, Alex Rance. They all gave their best form of leadership, even though they weren't Jimmy Steins, even though they weren't, square-jawed Stephen Kernahan types. So I think he wants to be loved. He wants to be a leader. He wants to be valued, and he wasn't that at Melbourne. Again, you say anything you can to get a player of that calibre to your list, but
could Adelaide have got the deal done?
They could have, but in the end, he didn't want to get there. Yeah, it was going to cost a couple of first rounders. It was going to cost 1.3 potentially via 5 years, but he wanted to go to Gold Coast.
It seems easier though, doesn't it, with the pick 7?
Yeah, and Gold Coast continues to say, we've now got pick 7, whatever it takes. When we commit to a player, we land that player.
You could see Jed Walter playing at full forward for the Demons.
Yeah. I think
an off-season swap if they're having a problem.
No doubt about that.
Manufacturing the deal.
Quick word on the Josh Kelly injury, which we touched on earlier, Jono.
Yeah, well, it's been doing some work in the background because Andy Murray, everyone's talking about the same with his hip resurfacing that he had. He had metal on metal. There's a new version which is ceramic hip resurfacing, which they reckon is absolutely unbelievable. So it'd be interesting to see which way Josh Kelly goes here. The most important thing we've got to focus on here, we talk about him getting back to play. He needs to get back to being able to just live his life normally without any pain. Number one. Number two, this new process, which has been around for about 5 years now, with doing the research in the background, looks like the way to go in regards to not having complications off the back of it and being able to return to top-level sport as well as living a normal life.
Oh, you're the expert here. But Andy Murray retired. Like, when he had that surgery, it was he won't be coming back. Maybe he had more miles on the clock there. Of course, he's had an amazing result from it. So, yeah, they're saying the last third of the season he could be back. But, yeah, there's a potential we don't see him at his best again.